You know, Jacqueline, you have to go back a number of years to find the last time the San Antonio Spurs notched more than 50 wins in a season, or rather even finished higher than 7th. Had a good run there in the teens, but then it kind of all fell off the wheels. But the wheels kind of fell off there. But fans hope that a return to dominance starting with the debut of the league's newest star tonight in Vegas.
Yeah, a generational talent, the French phenom. He's an alien, according to LeBron James. Of course, we're talking about Victor Wembanyama, who the Spurs selected #1 overall in the NBA draft. And in just a few hours, Jeremy, we're going to see Wemby. He's making his summer league debut in Las Vegas against the Hornets. We see him there, unwrapping the plastic, removing the plastic. We're seeing what Wemby has to offer. The basketball looks so small in his hand. There's already sold out, that arena where they're having the game against the Hornets, 17,000 seats, and it is completely sold out. He's the best prospect to come in a long, long time. Tip there is set for 9 p.m. Eastern. And for more on this, let's bring in our NBA champ and our coach, Avery Johnson. Avery, we have been talking about Wemby, the hype surrounding him, really the buzz in the Summer League. It is all about Wemby. The tickets for that game, there are thousands of dollars just to see him. It is sold out. We're finally going to see him in action tonight. What do you want to see from Wemby, though, when he hits the court in America for the first time?
Well, I know you can afford it, Jacqueline, that $1,000 ticket. But I'm just looking for him to play with extremely high level of energy, especially on the defensive end. I think that's where his focus should be. We all know he's a very crafty at it. His skill set is unbelievable for somebody that's 7'4". This guy can pass, dribble, and shoot. He can take one-legged fadeaways from the three-point line. But I think if he just focuses on defense, defending the pick and roll, blocking shots, finishing, with ferocious dunks around the basket, that'll take a lot of pressure off of him. I don't see him playing the entire game today. They'll probably have him on some sort of a minute restriction because, all of the guys that he's playing against are going to be trying to, outplay him, especially on the other side with Brandon Miller, who struggled a little bit in Summer League. But I just think you got to pick one or two things, whether it's defending and rebounding or running the floor. Just focus on one or two things. Take the pressure off. I don't think anything that he does tonight, he's going to outperform the expectations because they're so great. In some ways unfair, but that's the social media age that we're living in right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Coach, I heard that Brandon was at the white party, the iconic white party. So I know that he's definitely probably going to this game. Maybe he can get us tickets. I think he's our route if we want to weigh in. All right, so we know Wemby is walking into a young Spurs team for the upcoming season. We always talk about the Spurs' other #1 draft picks, the Admiral, Tim Duncan. The teams they were walking into were very different. But the Spurs team this upcoming season, their projected starting 5, they're all under the age of 23. And the Spurs really haven't made any major moves in free agency. Does that surprise you?
Not at all, because they have a plan. And you're looking at one of the best sports franchises in history, not just basketball franchises, when you go back and look at their last 25-year track record. So from a management standpoint, this is not a championship team. So you don't need to go out and just spend unwisely. And that's what the Spurs haven't done. Now, maybe next summer or the summer after, for the right players, they'll go out and add some really high-level talent to this team and give Victor Wembanyama a chance to get 1 or 2 years of NBA basketball under his belt. So unlike the Houston Rockets, who are a little bit further ahead, they went all in on Fred VanVleet. They paid him, $130 million. But the Spurs at this point, they're standing pat. They're going to stay young, probably not a playoff team this year, and continue to build around Victor Wembanyama because he's walking into a situation unlike Tim Duncan, who walked in and it was David Robinson and Sean Elliott and myself, who were older veteran players. That's not what Victor Wembanyama is walking in the door. He's with young players.
And Coach, really quickly, just following up, you said, hey, this is not a championship team this upcoming season, but a message to Spurs fans, just how patient should they be with Wemby? We've had all this hype, so I feel like a lot of people may be expecting year one he's going to be crazy and totally turn things around, but what are the realistic expectations for him with this lineup to build something around him and then actually turn things around, in your opinion?
Well, you don't want this to be a roller coaster year for this young man. Don't overreact if he has a bad game, because you know he's not playing against the Spurs white team, against the Spurs silver team. He's playing against other players, veteran players that are a lot stronger, more experienced. So he's going to have some up and downs, but just don't overreact. Continue to support him. We're looking at a journey here, a body of work, and it's not going to be accomplished in this summer league tonight or the next summer league game or his first 10 games in the NBA. Just be patient. He'll end up, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a superstar player, but it's just going to take a minute.
All right, and some more offseason news. Dejounte Murray and the Hawks agree to a 4-year, $120 million extension. When you think of Murray and Trae Young together, what do you think Atlanta is going to get from them in this upcoming season and in the postseason, of course?
Yeah, another former Spur, Dejounte Murray. This move was made because, you know, he's a defensive player first. This guy really helps cover up for Trae Young's mistakes on defense, because Trae Young is not one of the better defensive players in the NBA. So you needed to have a two-way player at that position, a guy that you can continue to build around with this backcourt. So this was a great move. You know, when you look at Dejounte Murray, he's a much improved shooter from the outside. But now you got your two pillars at the guard position. And when they traded John Collins to the Utah Jazz, that was a move that was necessary. But when I look at Dejounte Murray, the best teams retain their really good players and don't allow them to walk out the door. And Dejounte Murray going into the next season, he doesn't have to worry because he's got security, and now he can come and play some of his best basketball.
All right, that is our coach, Avery Johnson, joining us in HQ as we are waiting for Wemby's Summer League debut. That is upon us. I'm going to hit up Brandon Baylor and see if he can get us in the door, Jeremy. I know he's our hookup for all the
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
Good
all
luck.
the facey events. Brandon's always there, man. All right, we're going to see the #1 overall pick versus the #2 pick when the Hornets take on the Spurs, and Brandon Miller and Wemby. That is at 9 p.m. Eastern. The Thomas & Mack Center sold out for that one. Bulls and the Raptors, that is at 6:30, and then at 11 p.m. Eastern, the Warriors and the Lakers.